Ayo, so boom, we back again. Alright, man, I wanted to give a diagnosis of, it's like my fifth time making this same grill. Why has it taken me so long to make this one grill? I could jump in there. Well, first on this one, it's too tight. This is me pulling. This one's too tight. And because of that tightness, when I was trying to fit it on there, you may or may not see it, there's a hairline fracture. And I got that hairline fracture from trying to force it on there. But so this is grill number 5. Like I said, each one that I've made, there's some slight variance of what made it an issue. Now this one, what I was really proud about is that I cleaned out the internals, and I did it during the 3D sculpting side. The one previous, I didn't clean out the internals, and I had to do that manually. And that's not something that you want to do repeatedly for multiple clients. If it's situationally, like having those little knots in there, that's another thing I got to point out. Having those little bumps in there, that comes from over granularized investment. So that means that my investment is not mixed fine enough. I didn't filter it, and I kind of take shortcuts. I don't want to explain too much because I don't want to give too much sauce, but I'll just jump to the end and I'll explain something else. So then the one previous to that was a stone in place. That one I had a vacuum suction issue when I was pouring the metal. So I never got appropriate suction, therefore the grill was partial. Some of it came out, some of it didn't. I kind of wish that one did, but I'm glad that it didn't. I wish it did because I would have had success early on, but I'm glad that it didn't because I had to do some other variations with these molds. What I've learned, like example with this one, this mold is this exact one in my hand. Now, that's what I'm saying. If I were to cast this, I would have been very happy had this had come out. But like I just said, this one is this one. But when I put this one on there, it was actually too tight. So that's one of those things that you have to figure out, like the difference between like wax tightness, see what I mean? How it fits in the wax state versus how it fits in the metal state. And it's just little caveats like that. And like I said, those little granularities that were in there, that comes from me putting my mold upright when I was talking about doing it downwards for quite some time. But, you know, I just get convinced by other fake jewelers that swear they know what they're doing by watching Chinese people do what they do. Shout out to China, nothing about them, but like, because they're the ones that post a lot of videos. But anyways, my point being is, so jumping back, that's 3 renditions. Then there was 2 of them. One of them, I don't even remember what the fuck happened. I think I was having casting problems. The very first one, somebody said a blowout. I didn't even know what a blowout was, but I did experience a blowout. That's when when a flask cracks. And I've had that due to thermal shock. That was my very first one when I had I tripped the power cable and all that shit. So each time that I've been through these grills, the things that y'all don't know is I've been rained on. I've been dodging rain. I've tripped power cables or circuit breakers multiple times. I've been through the routes, and I think that's another reason why I cast so much and I do so much is just because the more you do it, the more that you learn little caveats, you get better, little different techniques. So this one, like I said, grill number 5, I damn near thought this was the gold mine right here. But, you know, I'm not upset about it. I have been using this one to practice setting stones, which, you know, always use your fuck ups for something. And then what I like to do afterwards is I'll salvage what I can. Like, I'll knock out the stones if I can knock them out, or if I can't, I'll just take the sections of it that have no stone and I'll remelt this and use it towards another project. And that's how I end up making the rings and the other various things that I end up giving away, because you're supposed to use clean silver as a ratio versus clean versus dirty. But if I'm gonna reuse it, it leads to porosity and different things like that, fire scale, whatever, just little inconsistencies in the metal. But if I'm at a stage to where I'm remelting it multiple times, I'll end up making a project that I'll give away for free. So that's another way that I can do collateral and Not that I'm really actively on that note, but it essentially is a tax write-off by taking a dollar value piece and commissioning it for free. So there's different ways that I can leverage that. But anyways, the main thing I want to just jump on is to say I'm very proud of myself with this one. I did show my last few CADs that had some issues in them, little, lettering, just there's a lot of stuff that goes into this, making sure that, again, in the 3D side that the metal flows properly when it's in its plastic state, that is structured properly, that all that stuff happens, right? So I would call this actually a win. I would say it's like an 8 out of a 10 of a win. And I would say that simply because we made it this far. And with this, that lets me know what little tweaks I need to make this a production piece. And for me right now, the main thing is that I'm gonna just put most of this stuff on the back burner and really focus on some of the other priorities in my life. Like, for those who really know about the derogatory remarks regarding my mother, my, just everything, my life, just the loss of my bins, just moving to Florida and the transitions that I've had to make, and the sacrifice that I had to make. Now I'm ready to go back into cybersecurity, really, do some adult things, and I'm really more focused on that more so than worried about, pursuing the craft of jewelry making. Because one thing about it is, I'm not in this just to flip it and try to become a millionaire overnight or nothing like that. Like, my goals are slightly different. I don't want to get into it in this videotape, but I just want to say we're here with the W for this one. I'm using this one as stone setting practice. We never consider anything a loss, it's a lesson. And going forward, I think see, like the plain Jane ones, those are a lot easier. There's no stones. There's little, I'm not worried about simple shit like that. I'm worried about the micro pave. I'm like, there's little things that I'm not discussing in totality. Like, I might increase the depth, not the depth, the width of this, or the dimensions just ever so slightly, like fractions of a number, just because you can put cutters in there. Cutters meaning that you can have the little holes already poked through there. I didn't really want cutters in mine, so it's just a lot of different ones versus some of my earlier models where you probably seen like the inside backing was removed of the tooth. So I used to think that, whatever, how I used to think, but I got through that. But there's just a lot of things that you have to learn. I would not sign up for those classes that say $300, $500 to become a jeweler. That's just not true coming from somebody, bro. I'll be honest with you. I've had $500 worth of material that I've never even used, in the sense of, like, it's just a misfit. Like, I purchased it, thought that it was going to be what I needed it to be, and it wasn't. So if you think that you're just going to jump out there with 300 or 500 and start a business, yeah, you probably put it in paper, but beyond that, it ain't going to be much. And all that middleman shit, I mean, if that's you, bro, you do that. But I don't think that the middleman lane really exists too much anymore, or it's evaporating rapidly. So I'm more on the producer consumers side, like direct to consumer. But anyways, I don't want to be long-winded, but I might come out with a new ebook. The ebook I'm focused on now is towards jewelry and jewelers. So I may put together something like a tools list or a step-by-step guide or something like that. But we'll see. Ayo, so booming what? Peace.